chat.
He's used to just bullying me in the chat. Is that what it is?
Yeah.
So many of us.
There's so many of us. We made it. Welcome, everybody. Jackson can't hear that. He needs more of it in his fucking monitor. Morning, and welcome to a very special episode of Don't Feed the Artists. I'm Hagen,
I'm Dave.
I'm Adam.
and we are joined by two very special guests we have here.
I'm Blake.
And
Jaskin.
you gonna try it one more time?
Jaskin.
One more time.
Jaskin.
We have Jascan, everybody. Thank you so much. It's a end of year episode. We're here. We thought we'd bring on everyone's favorite guests.
And Jackson.
Yeah.
No, we're being nice.
He wasn't being nice to us.
We're being nice. That's okay. He
You
can
left
do what
the
he
room
needs.
and he was very mean.
Was he?
Yeah.
Hi, Ian.
He just looked at all of us and went, fuck you and fuck you.
Yeah, that makes sense. I get that. Yeah, for the audio listeners, if you go over to our YouTube video, you'll see that it's a packed house. It is incredible. It's very tight in this room, and I tried to figure out like what I could do differently to make it work, but there's nothing I could do.
I can still sit in Dave's lap, if it helps.
I think we should do that.
It's the mic setup. I don't think it would work well.
With you think
Stacking, like, I'm already going to
share
hit
a
my
mic.
elbow on this. Yeah.
Share a mic.
I've watched enough 70s rock videos to know how to share that mic with you, Dave.
Just share a microphone, and that'll work perfectly.
Ian in the chat said he found Waldo.
And
Do you want to explain that?
You look like where's Waldo without a hat.
Yeah.
that
I have been
Where's
working
Waldo?
out, Ian, so if you want me to take off the shirt, keep those jokes coming.
yeah, I'd love for him to take off his shirt. That'd be awesome. And then we'll get taken down off YouTube for some reason. I don't know.
Because of my nipples.
Because of your nipples.
Yeah,
That's
that'll
exactly
do it.
why.
Got
That's
big
exactly
Italian
why.
nipples.
Jesus.
I got a scar from when I was a baby.
Okay.
Right in the middle of one of my abs.
Right in the middle
I
of
have
one-
7 abs. I had surgery on my stomach.
Oh, but why?
I was throwing up a lot and couldn't not throw up, so it was that or die.
Oh, okay.
I hope that you wanted to talk about this because Dave was going to force that conversation.
I'm glad they fixed it.
Apparently, the same thing happened to Ringo Starr. Like, every time I forget what the condition was called, I look up him because it's got a really long medical name, and I'm just like, well, I remember he had it, so I just look it up. I'm like, cool, that's what it's called.
So if you want to know, Dave, then you have to just look that up.
I'll just watch the entire Beatles documentary again.
Well, you know when
I'm not
he,
sure they cover that.
well, you know when he was not in the band early on, like he was in the band, and then like he took a quick break because he had to get surgery, and they had a like a fill-in drummer.
That's what it was?
That's what it was.
Oh,
The
okay.
stomach thing.
But
He got
it's
that
not.
surgery. But he
but
wasn't a baby.
He wasn't. Yeah, he wasn't. Or he was. He's still a baby.
He kind of is.
He's still a baby.
Not the baby.
Baby needs back on the drum throne.
The baby needs back on the drum throne. Baby got back on the drum throne. How's everyone doing? Everyone having a good week?
End of the year.
Pretty busy.
Yeah.
Yeah,
It's busy,
weird.
but it's good.
I honestly didn't think it was going to be as busy as it is. I don't know why. I just was like, oh, all of a sudden it's really fucking busy. But
Yeah, incredibly busy. I got muscle relaxers from my doctor today because I'm having tension headaches. So
fuck, dude.
that's how I'm doing.
I'm so sorry.
I think
That
Hagen's
sucks.
getting close to that. He's got some pretty gnarly neck pain going on.
Yeah, I got like lightheaded from neck pain today.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Wow.
but it's okay.
If you want some muscle relaxers, I have way too many.
No.
She trusts me too much. Told her I've had headaches since the election. I'm positive it's stress, but just in case it's a tumor or something, what should we do? And she's like, try these. Go to bed.
Medication.
Yeah.
Try these and go to bed.
And then if that doesn't work, then we can do that.
Then we'll give you propofol.
Nice. That's what Jackson's really trying to get at here.
Yeah, that's what he wants.
Sounds
That's-
like he'll get lots of it.
That's incredible. Well,
Yeah.
I mean, I feel it's the end of the year. I'm surprised that I'm busy, but it's good. I haven't even
like a
it's
work
like-
busy? Or, sorry, not work busy. Gig busy? Is that what you're referring to, or just general busy?
Just general busy. I did have a gig before this. I played a gig like right before this happened. So I say right
long?
before 2 hours.
And then were you working before that?
Yeah.
Thank you for putting all this work in. On behalf of these guys, not Blake.
Yeah, we weren't going to thank you.
Yeah.
My only thing that happened really was that I stood in this room, like I cleared out a lot of stuff, like just to like see if I could like make the room work differently, for a couple reasons. Like one for this, so we could fit as many people in here like comfortably, and then the other one being that I like. For Blake's new show, I want to be able to not be on camera. I'd like to have it set up so I don't have to be on camera. And so I'm trying to figure out how to change the room. So I'm fucking standing in this room just like with the camera on, like just
hand on hips.
are you sure? Like this is pissing me off. I just want this to work, and I just couldn't find a way to get the room situated yet, but I will. That's the only like real stressor I've had in relation to this, and then also getting the mics to all work the way that I want, which I think everything works.
It's working really
Is
well.
that,
Seems
is that
like it
video
is.
on Patreon?
Yes, it's on Patreon of me just going in an empty
Standing
room.
there, just walking around the room like a time lapse.
Damn it! Oh! So yeah, but it's great. I'm happy to be here, and it's been a fun day, just tiring, and I can't wait to lay down for my neck.
When you lay down,
Kick my legs.
do you kick your legs?
I did that the other night, and I was like, "Oh my god,
Feels
I'm
good.
Jackson."
You're
Wait,
like,
do you
I get
wait?
it.
Feels good.
Are you saying, "Oh my god," like you're Jackson? Do you get it, or you're saying just
I'm
oh, I
acting
am
like Jackson.
It's
like,
fun
I was
though,
so
right?
excited
But
to
you
get
get
in
it.
bed. Yeah, I was so excited to get in bed, and I was cuddling with my dog, and I was like, "Oh
And
my!"
you kicked your dog.
I had like extra energy, and so I just started kicking my legs without thinking about it, and then I was like, "Oh my god, I understand."
Imagine your dog's reaction, like, "What the fuck?"
No, he doesn't. I do weird stuff all the time around him.
Well, that's
He's just like, "Okay, whatever."
This is what we're doing now.
So end of year episode. We're here.
Felt like you were waiting for someone to call him out on it, but
Just moving on.
just not my job
Just
anymore.
just moving on. So we're here. Just so everybody remembers, the way we're gonna do this is we're here to talk about our albums of the year. So we'll like basically go around. We'll each talk about our albums of the year, and then in between that, I have some little things like we'll talk about how the year was in music, how we felt about that, if we have any hopes for next year, and so on and so forth. And I have some just like kind of loose games ish, you could call it, mostly just questions to see if Adam and Dave remember anything about this show.
Can we start with
possibly
our
not.
hopes? I want to hear about Adam's hopes.
Adam's.
My
we
hopes.
we could do that.
Yeah, what's your 5-year plan?
Actually, yeah, let's do that. What do you got?
Possibly move.
I knew
Okay,
that. What
and
else?
where is that?
Milwaukee.
Scotland.
Scotland. Okay.
5 years is pretty optimistic on
Cool.
that front, honestly. It's probably more like 10.
More like 10 years you'll move to Scotland.
Yeah.
Okay. And what
A
else?
long time.
I don't know.
That's it.
That's all I got.
We're gonna have to move on to our next applicant. That's
Yeah.
not. That's not.
Yeah,
that's,
that's-
that
that's
does not well thought out enough for us.
Yeah.
Okay. I'm gonna go first for my album of the year. Just get me out of the way. Everybody knows we all share what our albums of the year were, so it's not news to anybody. I told Jackson, I don't know if he remembers what our albums were. I didn't text you, but I didn't think he really cared. Also.
No, I don't remember. I know Dave's.
Yeah.
Other than that, no.
okay,
And
great.
that's because I just know Dave.
So my album of the year is "Feeling Not Found" by Origami Angel. I had a really every year is like a different struggle for picking an album of the year, like a different reason as to why that struggle exists. I found that like this year, the album I listened to the most was not my favorite album. Like, I don't know. Every time I say that, it feels like I'm a crazy person. But this is just the case. The album I listened to the most was not my like top album. It was just like the most easy listening album for me. It got me hyped up. It got me excited. That album was by the guy Bill Murray that I've mentioned before. And so like that album just got me excited, but it wasn't like musically, I wasn't just super into it all the time. Origami Angel, like I was really in like an emo phase this year and like pop punk phase, and Origami Angel scratched all those itches for me. And so plus like musically, it's weird.
It's super weird.
It's a weird album. So I like, and interestingly enough, like what kind of also got me is that every time I listen to it, still I find new stuff about it. And also I didn't even know anything about the process of them making the album. I just liked the album a lot. And then I learned that they started recording and demoing this in 2020, and they released an album and an EP in between all that, which is just crazy. That's just a wild thing. Didn't know anything about that. And like lyrically, the more I learned about that, the whole Feeling Not Found is a play on File Not Found. So the whole thing is like, and they said, quote, an emotional and spiritual 404 is like the theme for the album.
Have you seen all that stuff that they did at their shows and like how they did like the releases on like Nintendo DSs and stuff?
I did see some of that.
At
Yeah.
every single show they had like an actual like cartridge. I think it was an N64 game that like you could basically plug into your N64 and it would play the album. And they did the same thing with a Nintendo DS. And I think there was one other thing. I think
Yeah.
they sold like iPods or something like that had the album on it.
Yeah.
It was just all like really like they're clearly going for like nostalgia, and it was pretty cool.
Yeah, there was a lot of like they have one of the names in the song is or on the album is HM07 Waterfall, which is a Pokemon move. Yeah, Dave, there you go. Yeah, and so like it's all very nostalgia based, but also just kind of like very based in like how technology is like affecting them, and also simultaneously the lead guy had just lost his cousin, I believe, like it was like in 2020 or 2021, and so like his cousin was like, this album is like your best work, and it really like got him through into the point of like, I'm gonna finish this album, which he inevitably then did, and it's amazing.
And there's only two of them.
There's only two of them. There's only two members. I did see them live. That was kind of weird. That also kind of made me not want to pick them as album of the year. They were great live, but the lead guy was a little upset at times. At least maybe it was a bit. I couldn't
Like, as
tell.
the crowd.
So they were playing new songs, and it seems like I guess to him the crowd didn't care as much about the new songs, and so he would like be like, "Hey, so just released a new album. I don't know if you guys heard about it." And then they'd play like a new song off of it, and they'd go play like an old song. And the crowd go crazy, and he'd go, "I don't know if you guys have Google or anything, but like we released a new album. Like we released a new
Don't
album."
do that.
I was like, fuck, I really like this. I like this music so much, but this is so weird.
Is their drummer is he as uptight as he looks
Yeah,
live?
he plays really uptight.
He looks very just like he's very like precise and plays very well. But every video I've seen of him, he's like doesn't like react.
Yeah, the way he plays on the record, he plays it note for note live.
Yeah.
And it's like it's very rigid and it's exact.
Jeez.
Yeah, it's great though. It's really really good. Just
He's not going to be bobbing his head or anything.
Right.
Like very just like
Technical.
Yeah.
Precise.
Yeah, one of the interesting things too is that they are a duo, but they do the duo thing really well in that like they obviously have tracks because they're a duo, but they are playing the stuff that you want to see them play live. Like the
Right.
guitar player is playing all the solos. He's not like, just like bowing out whenever there's other guitar stuff happening. He's actually playing it.
Do you think that they could pull off a show without tracks?
Probably not.
I think they used to before this album.
It wouldn't
because,
surprise me.
Like all the videos I've seen have been before this tour, and they don't have tracks.
It wouldn't surprise me, but there's just a lot of stuff on this album
There's
that
so much stuff.
I feel like they would want to have, and the two of them just can't do it all. So, I have no idea what that was.
The cover fell off the
it fell
GoPro.
off
I'm just
again.
not going to look.
Damn,
I'm not
I'll
going
fix
to look
I'll
at
fix
it.
it.
Don't look at it, Dave.
But yeah,
Don't look at the
so
light.
so that album it inevitably became my album of the year. Just so I real quick say my honorable mentions. It was Older by Lizzie McAlpine, Knocked Loose's record this year, Bill Murray, American Motorsports is the name of that album, and Model by Wallows. Those are some of my other honorable mentions. Love those albums to death, but just inevitably had to pick Origami Angel. Yeah.
Man, when I was listening to that record, I was like, "Holy shit, these guys are good at music." I didn't know that they were. I didn't know it was just a duo, or didn't remember at the time that I was listening to it. And then I also found it cool that like the heavy elements that were in this record, like all over it, made me think of like if pop punk bands indulged those tiny little transition moments between verses and choruses, when like a drummer hits a floor tom and they do like a little hit. You know what I mean? If they're going like and then
Yeah.
go to the next part. But it's like they detour and go into a whole gent breakdown section.
Yeah.
And
Or like a
this
reggae
is-
song.
Or like a reggae song
Yeah.
that then goes back into heavy stuff. And it's
Yeah.
like, this is fucking great.
Yeah.
But it was such an exciting listen. It never ever got boring.
Yeah, it was a wild ride of a listen.
I think
And
that's
I did not expect or know that going into it. I just started. I'm like, off the first first minute, I was like, okay, I don't know where this is going, but I'm guessing it gets heavier, and then random things happen, and I was like, oh, okay.
Yeah.
yeah.
Huh.
Yeah.
It was very energetic interesting music to listen to while I was cleaning a couple weeks ago. So.
Have you listened to their first album? Mm-hmm. It's really interesting because what caught my eye whenever I first listened to them was that like it's of that ilk of like the emo and stuff like that, where if you listen to American Football, it's like all very bummer music, and like everything he's talking about is like, dude, you're 40 years old, why are you still talking about that? Your life's not that bad. So it sounds like that stuff, and they'll go in that direction, but it's all very upbeat, and that's what like kind of I think is interesting about them, because all the lyrics are positive as opposed to like everything else, like listening to Mom Jeans and stuff like that. It's all like all they talk about is like, wow, I'm so sad and all that kind of stuff. But that first album of theirs is that like they went for that, like all the lyrics are like, I'm so sad, nobody texts me back and all that kind of stuff. And then as soon as they switched on the next album, I was like, yeah, this sounds much better. Their first album is like, no.
I think that they understand the emo assignment really well, and they understand like what they need to be doing to make like this genre work for them, because they are they are an emo band, but
It's like progressive emo. Though.
right, yeah, it's not just straight up emo all the time,
Yeah.
right? And I think more than anything, I might like equate it to like math rock in some ways, but they do like have genre swaps and stuff like that, where it's like that was different.
Yeah. But also like you could make this album like 5 tracks with how a lot of the tracks seamlessly blend into the next one, and because it's somewhat of a concept album, I guess.
Yeah.
It's like this could be a progressive emo record.
Yeah, it's really cool. It's I like every time I listen to it, like I said, I find new stuff. And if you listen to the first minute, you're like, there's an intro track and it's kind of chill. And then the first song, it's like, well, this is a really like cliched kind of like heavier, like I'm just gonna say like metalcore song almost, right? Yeah. And then the second song is like, why am I counting in this? Like all of a sudden you have to like, you don't have to obviously, but like you want to start counting because you're like, wait, where's one? Where's everything? Great record, super into it for anyone who's a fan of emo music. Couldn't suggest it enough. But
for the fans of Dr. Pepper.
And for the fans of Dr. Pepper, yes. But yeah, that's my album of the year. I'm glad you guys got to listen to it and not just me shoving it down your ears. Because I really like it, and I'm as much as I can share that with people, I will. Now moving on to this year in music, to 2024 in music. That could be gigs, that could be releases, that could be live music. How do we feel about 2024 in music? Like this year was for Dave. It felt like every month I heard this is a grower of the show, like all the time, right?
I think that I'm going to carry that into next year because there were a couple of things that grew that I'm like, I like this, but ultimately I didn't really listen to anything for too long. And then it just burnt out.
Except for what is your album of the year?
Well, yeah, all 5 of my albums I listened to, but I feel like they're easy choices for me.
Sure. Yeah.
Wait, you have 5 albums?
Dave's an
overachiever.
The 3 of us chose 5.
Oh, that's crazy.
I listed my honorable mentions.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Gotcha.
Yeah. I just didn't want to harp on it too much because I was like, we'll move past. But yeah,
we narrowed it down to 5.
Yeah,
and none of the growers made it.
Yeah, right, which makes sense. Yeah, I felt as far as like releases go, it's like the same thing as every year, but like on the like every year it gets like a harder thing to like, it feels like at least to keep up with stuff. Yeah. And I try to go out of my way to like listen to stuff more than just, for our stream on Fridays. And it still is just like every time I'll be like, how the fuck, what is this? How like, well, this is crazy. How like keep finding this shit is very, it's not difficult to do, but you just have to put in the work to do it,
Yeah.
And it just every year it feels like more and more and more do you have to go work harder to find that stuff instead of going to your regular avenues, which is great. But it also is just, it's harder to find some of like the really great stuff out there, I think.
Yeah.
What was y'all's like favorite show that you saw this year? Did you have one?
Yeah, but it
Is
was
it Origami Angel?
no. It was Hot Mulligan, so another emo band. But I
Yeah, you've really been in a phase, haven't you?
yeah. I left that show and I was like, fuck, I want to see him again right now. It's a close second though, was seeing Between the Buried and Me 2 nights in a row. That was a close second, but
That was the Colors
Yeah.
thing.
but Hot Mulligan was like that was so fucking good.
What about you, Dave?
I can't think of any.
All right.
You know my answer.
I do not know your
Jack
answer.
Yak White.
Oh, gotcha. Nice.
Special
Blake, what
last
about
minute
you?
Jack White show.
I'm trying to think of what I've seen this year because time is a flat circle that I can't grasp anymore. So,
What about you?
I went to see Jeff Rosenstock in
Oh,
LA.
right. That's
Oh,
right.
After I got home after my summer abroad, that was really fun to go to, and yeah, just really nice.
'Cause that was, like-
Beautiful venue, 3-hour show, and all of his friends that I'm like I have my whole parasocial relationship with, like Chris Farron and Laura Stevenson and Scottoon Network.
Yeah.
It was and there's this one guy that I was like I swear I know that guy in the horn section, and then afterwards I looked him up and I was like, oh, he's in Goldfinger, he's in Real Big Fish, he's like in every single like formative ska band you can think of, and I was like, yeah, that was really fun to see.
That's great.
And it was just beautiful weather, and like it was in like the hills of Hollywood, which was really nice.
Yeah, it was like it was like in a theater, right?
Yeah.
And everybody was standing up the whole time, right?
Yeah, it was
Yeah.
in a theater where they typically do like orchestra shows, and you could tell
so cool.
because it was BYOB, and I was like, oh, this is like a punk show, and it's BYOB. I wonder if they know what's gonna happen. And people were just walking in with like 24 packs and just handing them around the show, and then everybody had their seat, but pretty much everybody went into the aisles and then like crammed up and made like mosh pits and all that kind of stuff in the aisles, and
That's so cool.
yeah, it was interesting.
Wait, we saw Queens of the Stone Age this year.
No, it was last year.
That was last year?
Yeah.
We saw Foo Fighters this year.
We saw Foo Fighters this year.
Then that's probably going to have to be my.
I thought you were going to say, no, that was last year too.
Could have been.
Yeah, no, we saw Foo Fighters this year. That's a good answer. Yeah, that's a very good answer.
That's a bucket list.
Yeah.
Oh shit, Ginger Root. That was probably a better show than
Okay.
Jeff Rosenstock.
Okay,
I think
nice.
Jeff Rosenstock for me was just like I actually like really just like this music, and like it means something to me. Whereas like Ginger Root, whenever I went to see them, I was like, oh, this is a band that like I like their music, but I'm not as like into. And I did my whole like I got free tickets to it, and I showed up, and I was just like, wow, this is actually like one of the most well thought out stage performances I've ever seen, and like clearly like just there was barely anyone there. It was like a really undersold, like 20% sold Bomb Factory, and they didn't give a shit. They're just like, well, we don't care. We're just gonna play the same show, and we're gonna just poke fun at this whole situation. We don't give a shit. Kind of the opposite of the Origami Angel thing. Of he was making jokes, about
Yeah.
it, of like, you guys feel real comfortable out
Jokes
there,
that
all right?
landed.
Yeah, and like he was just like, I don't care. And his hometown show, LA show, which was the end of that tour, got downgraded because it was undersold. And he did this whole like he basically made it a press thing of like, come to Ginger Root's very first downgraded show, and it got like picked up by like Pitchfork and like Stereo Gum as like, oh, what a transparent king. But like, yeah.
That's cool. I kept meaning to ask you about that band because you guys mentioned they were really good, and I just hadn't listened to them yet. And then I'll definitely keep that up here then.
I don't know if you'll be into it, but there's a handful of songs that are really good, and it kind of is a multimedia project.
Sure.
Which there's a whole YouTube element. There's a storyline with every album he does, and if that's not like your type of thing, and you're just going for the music, I could see it not being for everyone. But it is good music.
Okay.
But yeah.
Yeah. Any other thoughts on 2024 as a whole as music goes? How? I mean, I felt like as far as this is personal. What you're done?
I thought it was
here?
good.
Oh, it's good.
Yeah.
I felt like this is a personal thing, but I felt that like gigs felt weird this year.
Oh yeah.
It's very
Same
strange.
for me.
Yeah, it's very strange. Like it felt like all of a sudden all the venues didn't want to pay musicians anymore.
Yep.
And that was a strange thing that I didn't hear just from the two of us. Like it was
Yeah.
everywhere.
Everywhere. I played. This is the least amount of gigs I've played in a year, in probably a decade.
Yeah. This is very strange.
Wow.
I didn't get to experience that. Luckily, I barely played any shows this year, but one of the few shows we played, which was that was last week, 2 weeks ago. Was at a venue that like this is not the venue's fault, but like the way that they do things is like they basically say, hey, it's a $2 cover for anybody who comes into the venue, and like that is a low enough bar that like if you're going to your favorite bar or you're wanting to go to the food truck, whatever, $2 is enough of like fuck it. I'm gonna go in even if I'm not there for the band. But we had the opposite issue. But also $2 is enough that like if you get like 500 people, which is reasonable to happen at this venue, while you're playing, that's $1,000 to split between the bands. And we had the very first time where it was just like, people were turning away at the $2 cover. And I was like, dude, what the fuck?
It was really weird, and it was like they approached me and they're like, hey, I think we're gonna give it a little bit, but then we're gonna like kill the door because like people are turning away. And I was like, just kill it now, fuck it. I don't like that's so annoying, and like that bothers me so fucking much. But like I never want to judge anybody's like financial situation, but like
No, if you're going to a bar to go
$2,
drink, that's less than one beer.
You've already accepted that you're
can do
going
that.
out to spend money.
Yeah.
So like I do agree with
and
that.
we're not asking like for $15. We're not asking for $10. We're not even asking for $5. It's $2.
Yeah.
So I don't know. It was very strange as far as that goes. And definitely, I mean, I guess that goes on theme of just like venues not wanting.
I mean, is that people going to less shows or venues being cheap or both?
A combination of a lot of things.
Because I mean, I do think like that Jack White show as an example should have been something that sold out. I should not have been able to get a ticket the same day.
Right.
Somehow I did, and it was still not a full like room even for that kind of thing, which is like giant national act. Granted, doing a weird tour to get more attention and fewer people are going to be in the door, but it felt weird there, and
Well,
maybe
I had
there's
to
something to that.
remortgage my house to get my MCR tickets, so
You're
don't
part of
even
the
ask what
problem.
I did for my System of a Down tickets today, man.
What'd you do?
Remortgage my house.
Second time.
Moving on, I have some questions. You can call this a game if you want. You don't have to.
Game.
It's a game. Blake and Jackson, you guys can answer, but don't answer first because you might guess some bullshit here. Okay. How many deep dives did we do this year, and can you name them?
Fuck.
69. Takashi 69.
Now,
I do have to say I forgot this was a game that we play, and so I didn't look at the website.
now what I
Even
can
I knew this was coming.
what
Well, I also forgot to get Hagen the download numbers, so I just forgot. I forgot everything. So
now I could go a little back and forth on what we count as a deep dive. So I could potentially be swayed on what the number is, but I do have all of them pulled up that I could potentially consider a deep dive.
I mean, I would just be guessing shot in the dark, so I have no idea.
but just name them off. Name them off. Name them off. Adam, name them off too. You guys just collaborate here.
Yeah, play tennis here.
I'm going to say I think there's 3.
There's 3 deep dives.
At
Okay.
least 3.
So I
guess
know
not.
that you guys did
At least
Wilco.
3. That's crazy.
That's fair.
You guys did
Fair.
Wilco. You did Incubus. You did Counting Crows.
Mhm.
There was another one that I'd never heard of that band.
This guy's not even on the fucking
that's-
show
immediately
anymore.
was like,
This
yeah,
is
I'm not
fucking
listening to that.
crazy.
He listens to it more than we do. I was thinking there.
What was it? It was like Jellyfish.
Jellyfish.
Yeah.
Jellyfish.
Okay,
Third Eye
so that's
Blind.
4. Third Eye Blind. That's another one.
Okay, we got Wilco, we got Third Eye Blind, we got Jellyfish. You said Incubus.
Yeah.
They didn't
Did we do
say
Chris
that, I did.
Stapleton this year?
No,
No.
no, we did not.
Jesus.
What else? What else we do with Blake? Did we say that?
Jackson said kind of gross.
Yeah.
Did we say the other one?
Wilco.
We said Wilco. Did we say the
Eye
other one?
Blind.
Oh, we said Third Eye Blind.
Eye
Okay,
Blind.
great. There's one more that I would consider, but it's more of like I'll give you the hint. It's like a genre thing.
Jason Isbell?
Genre.
We'll
Ska.
talk about stuff in a minute. Genre.
Genre.
Grunge.
Grunge?
No,
Yeah.
these are old.
No.
I'm just saying things.
Old. It's very recent too.
It was very recent.
It
Yeah,
was very
I'm
recent.
Basically,
shows what an impact it had.
Oh,
on us.
disco.
Disco.
Jesus.
Yeah.
And then if you wanted to
Yucky.
That
count,
was most of these were your idea.
and if
Yeah, I
you
know.
and if you wanted to, you could count the formative songs as deep dives.
There's gray area.
Yeah,
I-
yeah, yeah.
I could buy an
But
argument
like
on
if you
that.
guys
Yeah.
had called that out, I would have counted it.
So it was double what I thought.
It was 6.
Yeah.
6 would be 6 is the answer that I was like this is what these are our deep dives here.
I haven't been listening to the episodes at all. Normally that helps me.
Well,
out
you
with
are
the answer.
you are on them, so I
Oh, I used to listen to all of them.
no, I know, but
Jesus.
All right, Dave, it's
Are
your
you saying
turn.
what the fuck to me?
No, just
to Adams.
this whole interaction.
All right, Dave, it's your turn. Give us your album of the year. Give us your honorable mentions. I skimmed over mine. No one else has to do it. You can talk more about yours.
I'll start with the honorable mentions. Nora Jones's Visions. Listened to that a lot with my wife while we were
Don't need to know.
grooming our dog.
Don't need to know what
Whoa,
how you
man.
groom your dog,
Jackson,
What are
that's
you,
an old
Drake?
joke.
He
Get
does,
some,
he,
get some
he
new
does
jokes.
he does weird stuff with the dog.
Get some new jokes.
Oh, fucking hell,
Can't believe
dude.
that came back. Idols
Not like
Tank,
us.
Dawes' Oh Brother, and Sierra Farrell's Trail of Flowers. And my favorite album of the year was Nathaniel Rateliff and the Night Sweats, South of Here.
great album.
Great album.
It's really good.
Yeah.
This is
Jackson,
really good.
I'm so glad you included that on your list, and that was your pick because that was just barely not on my
Right.
top 5.
you early in the year when it came out, you were like, "Yeah, it's too country."
Yes.
Do you still think that way?
This is not my point to speak.
No, I thought it was great. I don't think it's too country. I know that.
I don't think it feels very country at all,
no,
honestly.
no. I mean, there are.
And I mean,
elements.
I dislike country music, so
I just think it's a really great group of songs that fit really well together, and that this is like 3 or 4 records in a row for me where I'm like, man, they're getting better and better. They're really like killing it as a band, and they're consistent with how they sound together, but they're not just rewashing the same ideas over and over again.
This is their first one back together after his like
Since
solo.
no, second one back together.
Oh, second. Okay.
Yeah, they had another one like 2 years ago because the solo record came out in 2020, I think.
Yeah, that sounds
Or
right.
late 2019.
Right, we're 2 for 2. These are bands that I showed you guys.
Yeah.
Adam,
But
let me down.
but the
That's
big,
not true.
Yeah, it is.
No.
I played that Dr. Pepper song while we were on tour,
Jesus.
and you guys
I didn't remember
ignored
that.
it.
No, because you
guys
so,
ignored
no,
it.
That doesn't count for me. That doesn't
And
count for
then-
me.
that
No.
sounds like a
And
bit.
then you're like, "Wow, look at this band I found. Have you listened to this?" I was like, "Dude, fucking suck it."
That doesn't count for me. That doesn't work. Nope.
I mean, technically, I'm on his title plan, so I guess I can attribute mine to Jackson.
Bazinga.
Good job. Good job.
Son of a bitch.
Go ahead.
the thing I
Dave.
like the most about this record is
Can you do it in his voice? though?
no, I can't. It amazes me how he sings, and I feel like I don't know if I've just been listening to him long enough that I'm having an easier time understanding him. But more than that, it's his keyboard player that can just sing every word that he sings in a backup vocal and still play the keys the way he does. That alone is enough reason to listen to this record. It's fucking unbelievable.
You don't listen to the 1975, do you?
No.
Yeah, this whole thing, the like not like listening to a singer and actually finally starting to understand him. That's a thing with the 1975
Oh, okay.
fans. That's been a thing for a while.
I didn't know that.
Every singer I have on this list is hard to listen to.
I don't find Nathaniel Rateliff to be necessarily hard to listen to, but definitely like yeah,
No, it's just hard to understand what he's saying.
He's chewing up his words a lot.
Yeah.
And not really spitting them out.
Hey, he's got a gumball in his mouth.
Yeah,
He's the
exactly,
dude from
yeah.
The King's Speech.
Yeah.
The king.
He's the king.
He's
Yeah.
the dude from the.
And it doesn't take for me. It doesn't take away because like his voice is still really good, and the melodies are great. The band is great. It's a record for me that I felt like putting it on kind of either in the background or in the forefront. It works really, really well. There's some records where like if it's in the background, it's just not it. And there's some records where it's like, unfortunately, if it's like in the forefront, it's like I would rather just be not paying attention to this right now. It's really great, but it's not working for me. And this like I need to sit and either way for this record, it works super well.
Yeah. For most of the time it was out, it was a record that I could drive to a gig and listen to, and a record I could drive home and listen to, which usually they're very different experiences for me.
You could drive to
So-
picking me up from work.
Anytime you were in my car
Yeah.
for the brief period of time that you were this year, that record was on the entire time.
Can you give an example outside of this scenario of what like a going to a gig repertoire would be versus leaving?
Depending on the gig, if it's like a country gig, I'll listen to some Chris Stapleton, like
Okay.
any of his higher energy stuff, which is there's not a lot of it, but I have a playlist.
Don't know what this means. Okay.
Anyway, or for most other gigs, it's like the John Mayer's Trio record because it's like Pino and Steve Jordan gets me so fucking pumped up. Or like Every Time I Die's the Radical record is like that's a great driving to a gig record, and then driving home is usually just Dawes.
Okay.
Silence.
Comfort, never silence ever. I can't listen to silence ever.
When did you listen to the podcast? Driving to or from a gig?
That would be to work.
Okay.
Yeah.
So in very short segments.
Yeah. Yes.
Driving. It was driving off a bridge. That was when he listened to the podcast.
Hear himself saying something. Oh, stupid.
Yeah, great record. I really liked it a lot. Great choice.
Yeah.
That is a great keyboard player.
Yeah.
Like it just made me realize that I love keyboard players.
Yeah.
Way more than I thought I did.
Have you seen any live footage of them?
I haven't.
Oh, watch their they did a from home Tiny Desk thing during the pandemic, and it's unbelievable. That's more of the solo stuff, but that's basically all the Night Sweats in the same band.
It feels like the solo stuff is like it's all the same songs, just without a more fleshed out band behind it, and the band typically makes it feel more like upbeat. It feels like
Yeah,
Yeah, I mean,
that's
this album benefits from the band all being really good.
that's my blind spot with Nathaniel Rateliff is I don't know anything of his solo work. I
It's
only
just one
know.
record.
Okay, well, I only know him with the Night Sweats, and so I couldn't even like begin to like. It seems like him with the band that's all I want. Like
Yeah.
I'm good. That's it.
That's how it should be.
yeah,
so good.
yeah, I'm
Yeah.
good with that. So what are we looking forward to in 2025 as far as music
what's your
goes?
5-year plan?
What's your
What's your
2025
5-year
year plan?
I hope I'm busier next year with gigs, and I think that's going to happen. I think this year was spent doing a couple of things in the background that haven't started doing things yet, and I'm really hoping they do.
Yeah. I hope I have more gigs next year, and and I have a similar feeling. But also, like I also am, I'm more than anything as far as like that side of the world goes, trying to figure out like what my other plans are in the case of gigs not working out. But as far as music, music that's being released and going to see live music, I can't think of anything off the top of my head that's being released. Oh no, Spirit Box's record. But as far as like live shows, it feels like it's tour announcement season. It's like every week there's a crazy amount of tours that are being announced.
Yeah.
And they're like just crazy big, huge tours. I was hoping we could go to a Coheed show together, Jackson, but we can't. So
2 years in a row now that I won't be able to get to see Coheed. This is
Yeah.
a big deal for me.
I'm sorry.
Yeah,
I'm
it's
sorry.
Not that big of a deal.
I
thought about it, and I texted my normal group of Coheed friends that I was like, oh, another fucking year where we don't get to see them. And
For
then
those
I
of us
thought
who
about
don't
it.
know, are they just not going on tour? Or
No,
not
they're going
coming
on tour.
here?
They're just not coming.
They're not
to
coming
Texas
here.
right
Yeah,
now.
it's Coheed, Mastodon, and Periphery. So I was like,
There are a lot
"Jeez."
of artists not coming.
Which
here.
everyody was super like jacked off about
yeah.
that lineup. And
I
was
was.
just like,
Well,
fuck.
not about Mastodon. I was just like, I want to go see
Yeah.
Periphery, and I would love to see Coheed again. It's been years since I've seen them,
Yeah.
and it would.
And it's
I
a
was-
new album tour too.
Yeah.
So it's not like not one of those in between tours.
Is that new album out?
No, it comes out in
just
like
the-
March. I
the
think.
singles are fucking great.
And Ian says in the chat, Deftones, System of a Down, Polyphia, nice. I mean, there you go. That's that's huge. I didn't like what?
Yeah, I was joking. I didn't actually get tickets to that. I've like kind of sworn off big shows like
Yeah.
that.
Yeah.
But I like almost got strong armed at work because there's a guy who's like really into that kind of music who's like, "Hey, you told me about the Chicago show. I'm going. Are you going?" I was like, I don't think so, man. And he was like, well, if they're this price, I think you should go. And I was like, oh, maybe I should. Maybe you're right. It's on it's on a Sunday. I don't have to take time off work. That's easy. And like, I was like, wait a minute. No, dude, I'm not doing that.
That's so funny. Yeah, it's there's so many huge tours that are being announced for next year, and some stuff that I saw that were dates that even go into like summer.
Yeah.
There
And-
was Viagra Boys
Yeah.
just announced a tour, and I was like, cool, I want to go to this. And then I saw the Dallas date, November.
Yeah,
I was like, dude, I'm gonna go to that show, but I'm not getting my ticket till like summer.
And like Linkin Park's tour is literally all year. It starts in January and goes through December.
That's
It's-
insane.
It's absolutely wild. And it's a world tour, but like it's so
No,
many
still,
dates. It's literally all year long.
I wonder if they'll release another record.
I hope not.
I think Incubus is going to release a record this year with their new bass player in 2025, and I'm curious about that. I'm excited to hear that.
Fuck that band. They're the reason I couldn't see Coheed this
Why?
year. Because fucking Incubus prices. I'm not paying $150 to see Coheed open for them and then leave before Incubus starts. Fuck that
You don't
band.
have to leave.
But I would. I was so mad. Once again, all the Coheed friends, we were all like, dude, I'm not paying this price. What
No.
the fuck?
I didn't see Counting Crows this year because they opened for Santana,
Yeah.
Oh,
and I didn't want to deal with Santana.
That
fans.
one makes more sense.
Yeah, I bet that. Where even was that?
Dickies Arena.
Oh,
Dude,
yeah,
have
yeah.
you been to that place?
I have, yeah.
It smells like funnel cakes.
You know, now that you mention it, it absolutely does.
is that a bad thing? I don't really know what fun.
No, it's just
No,
it's an
that's not what I
observation.
expected, though.
I saw a,
Not good nor bad.
a
Sounds like a
stand-up
fair.
comedian in there, which was bizarre.
I saw Muse there, which was not the venue I expected to walk in, and like there's like rodeo setups everywhere around that venue,
Yeah.
and I was like walking in, smelling like funnel cake. I was like, this is a vibe. Fuck yeah. Funnel cakes rule, but they smell distinct and they make you think of a state fair.
Yeah.
And when you go to see like this, like just kind of like very stadium rock band, it's not what you think you're walking into.
Yeah, I would, when you say something smells like funnel cakes, I'm like, oh, so it just smells like the state fair. Like that's literally
Exactly.
that's
Yeah.
the only thing I think of is just walking through the state fair. Then
Stadiums don't usually smell like that. So.
I do also
True.
think that's it's a good size stadium because the American Airlines Center, which is like one of the biggest stadiums in this area, it has the floor, has the first row of seating, second, and then the nosebleeds. This place only has the first row and the second. So even if you have the highest ticket, the highest
row
seat,
yeah.
it's a good spot. There's like the quote unquote nosebleeds there aren't bad.
That's
So
good.
if you're ever considering going there and you're in the area, it's not bad.
I'm going back to the first question. Did you say the live show that you liked?
I had the biggest like gap in my brain I've ever
are you going
had.
to say what I'm going to ask you about?
Yeah, absolutely.
Okay.
I saw two of my favorite bands.
Okay, yeah.
Of all time this year.
Yeah.
I saw Dinosaur Jr. I saw the Flaming Lips, who were great, and then I saw Weezer play the second best Weezer album of all time in its entirety, and it was like a fucking Disneyland ride.
The footage that I've seen from that show looked really fucking cool.
It was so fun. Dinosaur Jr. is so fucking loud.
Well, and you saw that one was at American Airlines,
It was
right?
at American Airlines Center.
Yeah.
We got upgraded seats
That's awesome.
for the Weezer set. It was fantastic. They are cartoon characters.
So wait, Dinosaur Jr. How they opened for Weezer, right?
they opened the show.
How many amps did Jay Mascis have? Was it the
So
same setup?
He's got 3 full stacks.
Yes.
So what's that? 12-inch speakers.
Yeah.
Then he monitors himself with 2 Fender Twins. Then he also puts a Fender Twin on the bass player's side of the stage.
That is deafening.
Why?
That's insane.
Why?
They want to
He's
hurt people,
depressed.
and they did. In American Airlines Center, I saw people have to leave.
Damn.
Well, especially in
for
there.
sheer volume.
Yeah.
That's wild.
And it was maybe the second or third best moment of my life.
Front of house engineers hate them.
Yeah,
Crowds love
exactly.
them. Dinosaur Jr.
That kind of stuff scares me. Like,
Me
have
too.
you heard about the My Bloody Valentine thing? That it's called the
absolutely.
Holocaust, right?
Huh?
Yeah. That's what they call it. Like genuinely, it's like a song, and they basically there's this noise part on it where they play like 30 minutes of just like pure like up to 11, and it's fucking scary.
The idea is you can auditorily make yourself hallucinate.
That's what they think they're doing. Yeah,
So
That's crazy.
That sounds like
Damn.
something that someone very high convinced themselves of.
that's My
I
Bloody
promise it
Valentine.
wasn't me, but it's definitely something I think about pretty
It's
frequently.
like it is a famous thing they do, and everybody who goes to the show is just like, yeah, they're gonna do it. I'm so excited. They're more excited for that than the songs that they want to hear.
That's what you want as an artist.
yeah.
Yeah. Did you wear earplugs for that?
No, I'm an idiot.
Yeah, yeah, you are an idiot.
Especially in that stadium. Yeah.
They don't wear
That's
earplugs either, right? Jay Maskus
Well,
doesn't.
Surely at this point.
Yeah,
Do they need
he's
to?
like deaf.
Like he can't hear anything. Yeah.
Can't hear anything.
There's no point.
You just feel the notes.
It was great. I loved it.
I don't know how bands do that. I was watching
Dave
like
Grohl.
a King Gizzard and a Lizard Wizard show today, and I was like, oh, this seems like a very extended jam they're doing. And I watched, and like it was professionally shot, and like every single one of them, like no earplugs, no monitors,
Yeah.
and I was like, fuck, how are you guys doing this? They sounded good, but I was like, dude, you guys are doing this like they notoriously play 3-hour sets, and then they're doing it like every night.
Yeah.
Man, I mean, with all due respect, that's so fucking dumb.
Yeah.
Well, like I mean, the earplugs thing is a little dumb, but like whenever I see bands not using in ears, I'm
That's
like,
fine.
that's. But I'm saying that's just like that's more. I don't want to say it's necessarily impressive, but it's just like it's just interesting.
Well, they had monitors, but like,
But that's not the same thing as in
different,
ears
yeah,
though,
right.
because in ears are so like customized, and you can be like your monitor is too, but only to a certain point, because like you could do basically whatever you want to your in ears.
Man, if I walk away from my monitor on stage, I am deaf.
Yeah,
Like I
can't
immediately
hear.
am like, I don't know what's going on. I'm just
Yeah.
gonna like
All you can
hopefully
hear is
Dave's,
just- yeah.
like monitor sounds decent. Or if
Yeah.
you go to the middle of the stage, all I hear is drums.
Yeah, I was
If
gonna
I
say,
have a monitor,
Yeah.
if you walk away from your monitor, all you hear is just shh, the sound of my cymbal.
Yeah, it sucks. yeah. Yeah.
As far as 2025 goes, more gigs, please.
More gigs.
That's what I got. You guys ready to lose again?
Yep.
All right. You
Guaranteed.
guys can get this. Come on.
I said Fury. I don't know.
Okay. You guys get this. How many guests did we have on the show this year, and who were they?
Fuck.
Come the fuck on.
Individual guests, not
Jaskin,
like how many appearances
Balake.
guests made.
The individual Jackson doesn't count.
Okay.
We can count Jackson if you
Jackson.
want to, but
Blake,
awesome.
Robbie.
Right. Oh, sure, we can count Robbie. I didn't have. He was on Fun Fridays.
Yeah.
So
Well, I count that.
okay,
Robbie, you count.
I would
if you hear
personally
this.
like Robbie to be stricken from the record.
Robbie's stricken from the record. Though.
Thank
I'll
you.
second that motion. I don't know, Robbie. Sorry, Robbie.
Blake was here multiple times. Do we get to count him?
No,
multiple
just
times?
once. Just
Blake,
once.
Blake. Fuck.
Oh,
No,
there's
I feel so bad.
no way.
This
There
year?
was that sound
What was
engineer
this
that you
year?
guys had.
You
Oh,
had Carter
Carter.
and Chris both.
And that's fucking it.
Is that it?
Carter and Chris.
I would have guessed Chris was last year.
No, that was this year.
Okay.
Carter
been a
and
weird
Chris were
year.
this
I
year.
could have named all these.
Well, thanks for
Somebody
watching.
listens to the show a lot more than he lets on.
Only when I was in Korea, dude.
That was a long time, but the year apparently.
We had
was.
3 guests: Blake, Carter, and Chris. We can count Robbie. We can count Jackson, but those are the 3
No.
guests.
Not Robbie.
Sorry, he's stricken from the record.
Yes.
Those are the 3
The
guests.
jury needs to ignore what just happened.
Yeah, ignore it. Those are the 3 guests that I thought it was gonna be more, and then I looked back and I was like, oh, it was just those 3. Makes sense.
I would have thought it was more, and I was like, who are all the people I forgot?
Yeah. Oh my goodness, that's so loud. Sorry.
We're not even
Thanks.
on stream.
No, we're on Twitch.
Oh,
Thanks for
turn
that.
it up? I can't
Updated.
hear it.
We just got to follow on Twitch. Thank you for the follow on Twitch, and I'm gonna go ahead and just.
Now we know what that does.
Oh
Dave
yeah,
and I.
yeah. Now you know. now you
yeah.
know.
I don't think
I've
we
heard
knew
it before.
Yeah, you've heard it before. Yeah. Moving on.
Uh-oh, the Friday crosswords are ready to play, baby. New
Fuck
York
yeah,
Times.
let's go.
Come on.
You can play it now because the strike's over. All right, Blake.
All right.
Connections was dog shit today.
I
Moving on.
Just
had
keep talking over it.
had an
Yeah, let's do
extended
that.
stay in the hospital this year that let me listen to a lot of music that I should have listened to through the year. Mm-hmm. So I've got some honorable mentions that I'm going to hit pretty quick. Passage du Dessert by Johnny Blue Skies.
Forgot about that album.
The Sturgill Simpson alter ego
Yeah.
is fantastic, but anything Sturgill's put out has been pretty fantastic.
Except for the anime record.
Sound and Fury is great too, Dave.
I didn't like it.
We'll fight about it later. He's got a song called Scooter Blues that has the best out of context lyric of the year, no question, which is I spend my mornings making Eggos and chocolate milk. We'll move on. My number 4 was Underdressed at the Symphony by Faye Webster.
Yeah.
My only note is Nels Klein played guitar on it. So
Oh, really?
yeah.
I did not know that.
He's the electric guitar player
That's
on that
cool.
record.
Okay.
It's great. The Hard Quartet, which is a super group that these guys hated. Which
Yep.
I
What
love
made it super?
tremendously.
Hot
It
garbage.
is Stephen Malkmus from Pavement and Matt Sweeney from Chavez, and played with Iggy Pop.
I really don't like Stephen Malcolm's solo band's name. It sounds offensive.
The Jicks.
I don't think it is offensive, but like just saying it, it's Stephen Malcolmix and the Jicks.
And the Jicks, yeah.
That sounds like I'm like, I don't think I should say that.
How do you spell it?
Jicks.
Yeah.
Good music though.
Yeah.
So, like slacker power pop, very weird production, very weird part writing, which is what I'm here for. The Last Leaf on the Tree, the Willie Nelson record that came out in November, produced by his son Micah, is another just bizarre production.
Bizarre production.
Willie Nelson has the best old man voice
does.
of all time,
He really does.
I
and
think that makes sense.
the song choices.
Wow, do you agree with that, Adam?
That he has
As
the
a
best
Nick
old
Caveman?
man.
A Nick Caveman.
Nick Caveman. That's so good.
That's fair. That's fair.
Wow.
So, and then my album of the year was Service Merchandise by Previous Industries, which is a rap group out of L.A., made up of 3 middle-aged rappers from Chicago who made this album about businesses closing down that held a lot of nostalgia. A lot of lyrically, it's about being middle-aged in an indie music scene that's not particularly kind to older people in general. Just super great, very disjointed samples that
Yeah.
Very disjointed.
That's very true. I thought that listening to this, three people, right? Three people. Okay, so
there were some features.
yeah. There's like
there's two
Features.
So those features aside, I felt like each one of them had such a clear, distinct, like individual, like voice flow that was so like
Absolutely.
of its own like kind. Like to compare it to somebody else would be near impossible, right? And then on top of that, I found that the way that the vocals were produced on top of the samples, it felt like it was old. It felt like it was like almost older than it was, right?
and I think that's intentionally like
Yeah.
we are older people.
Right.
So you get Open Mike Evil, Video Dave, and Still Rift,
Yeah.
all from Chicago, came up in Chicago, moved to LA separately, and then another thing, they've been working on this since 2020.
Damn.
Oh, wow.
They were hanging out at Open Mike Eagle's apartment, just kind of going through records, getting these weird samples of like 30s.
So they produced
Tunes.
everything as well?
There's 2 other producers whose names I didn't write down.
Uh-huh.
But yeah, pretty well self-produced, save for engineering. Overall.
It's such a great listen.
It-
It's like if the Jurassic 5 were only 3 of them, and
Okay.
they took a bunch of acid and made a record.
Yeah, I think like on initial listen, I was like, I think I'm not enough of a weed smoker or any kind of weed smoker for this album.
That's
and then,
fair. That's
and then
fair.
on second listen, I was like, never mind, that was stupid. This is really good. Like I
Yeah.
thought it was really good the first time, but I felt like I was missing something. And then upon just re-listening, I was like, maybe I just needed to let it like just sit with me for a little bit or try again. But it was great. And I think the disjointedness wasn't my issue. Maybe it was just like some of the flow, because they were so like some of like the lyrical flow at times felt like this is gonna be the wrong word, but I'm gonna use it anyway. It felt like lazy at times almost, but
Sure,
not
sure.
in like a way of like, oh, they're fucking lazy, but just the way that some of the words came
Like
off their mouth.
going with the first thing you thought about.
Yeah,
maybe.
sure, yeah.
So it feels like it's in slow motion. a lot
Yeah,
of
that's
times.
that. I think that's really that's really what it is.
Some of the grooves are like forced into 4/4 time, even though the sample is very clearly not 4/4.
Yeah.
Sure.
And then they're rapping like ahead and behind the beat, depending on which MC it is. And so if you're not actively listening, several times listening to this record, I was like, I don't know where beat 1 is. Mm-hmm. And I would like restart the song and go, cool, that's on me. That has nothing to do with them.
Yeah.
And I just wish that I could ask them if they used a metronome along with the track.
No
to
shot.
know where they were rapping. Wow.
No.
So you never know.
I've seen Open Mike Eagle live,
Uh-huh.
and he live cuts all of those samples
Jesus.
with like an MPC
That's so cool.
and raps,
Cool.
and it's
Does he
Just-
loop it once he gets the?
No, he's hitting the start of the sample, starting it over, putting in his drum beat, and then
My
when
God.
it's time to switch
That's so
that sample,
cool.
he's re-triggering.
That's so crazy.
So
Yeah,
it's wild. It's a great record.
really good.
It's worth the
Yeah,
digging to. Service.
I really
service
enjoyed it,
merchandise.
although I did have the first like initial take, kind of like Hagen did, about like I don't think I get this. I don't do drugs enough.
I don't think I get this. I don't do drugs enough.
Really, it's real.
There was an immediate thing about like I'm missing something, and I don't know what it is, and I don't know what it says about me.
Yeah, it's
That's all fair.
It's definitely was a real thing, and I could see myself coming back to it and liking it more and more each time. But it definitely would just it was not my initial thing, but it really is real. The slow mo thing, that's the perfect way to put it. It does feel like it's in slow motion sometimes.
I have a long early drive, and it was really easy to just lock into.
that makes sense.
And the album is about the length of my drive. So
That's
Oh,
perfect.
yeah.
There you go.
Man, I mean, just really, really fun lines to listen to. Like,
Yeah.
every time I hear a new like bar that I'm like, it's fucking silly, but that's awesome.
It's a lot of silly bars.
He says I sleep like a baby. When I wake up, I'm grown.
Yeah.
Because the weather tells me that, or my bones tell me that the weather's going to be bad or something like
Yeah.
that. You're just like, this is so fucking weird, but it's great at the same time.
you start to go, yeah, this is all about just
Being old.
Being old.
That's good. Okay. Adam didn't help me with this next part.
Yeah,
What did you guys think about Me Without You's live album?
Didn't know they released one.
It was really good.
Thanks, Jackson.
Always going to be locked into those guys.
Really good.
Thanks, Jackson.
You're welcome. Original thought over here.
Yeah. This guy's not in chat right now.
What?
So this year for the podcast, there was some interesting things. But before I dive into some of like the numbers and stuff, not that anyone really cares, but I'm using it for the game. Did you guys have any like favorite episodes or moments from the podcast this year? You guys have to remember now.
we don't even know what episodes we did.
As I know mine because I'm selfish. I know.
I think the formative songs were the most
Yeah.
interesting among them.
I agree.
I know that for me, when I did my rant about when we were young in Lawrence, I felt really passionate about
Your
that.
book reports?
That was really good.
I really,
Yeah.
I was a fan of myself, but I also liked our Taylor Swift Patreon and a special shout out for Blake's long form episodes.
Yes.
Especially doing like almost 3 hours for one album.
We'll get there. We'll get there one day.
No.
I'll just have you all on the new show individually.
Yeah, so these
discuss.
these episodes have been so long and fun and also long that Blake gets his own show now. So
It's
my
3.5 hours.
Plan works.
so I have the rough viewership from YouTube, Instagram, and TikTok. I will give you guys a hint for each. So the hint is that for each one, you could either guess anywhere between 10K to 60K viewership.
What the
between
fuck?
Each one. Just 10, 20, 30, 40, 50, 60.
Okay.
So for YouTube, how much do you think we got?
20.
20, Adam?
For overall.
Just
Like,
overall viewership.
Oh, shit.
Overall viewership.
20,001.
45.
Okay. 30,000. 30,000.
Right
the
rules.
closest.
Okay, Instagram. What do you think?
Views?
Yeah,
I-
views, yeah.
I don't have any context for this.
Views are all that really matter.
10,000.
Yes.
Yeah.
Right about 10,000.
Lower than YouTube.
Nice. And then TikTok, any guess?
With the Taylor Swift stuff,
Yeah.
With the hate?
yeah, like 100,000 probably.
that one didn't actually get that.
And like 99,000 is Taylor Swift fans.
Carter's actually.
That one actually didn't get as many
No, I know,
views. Yeah.
It got a lot of comments.
It did. It got a lot of comments.
The
yeah.
ratio was nice.
The ratio is
Yeah.
real good.
30,000.
60,000.
Holy shit.
60,000.
I also have no context for this either.
Yeah.
You don't even know what TikTok is.
Carter's episode was my favorite episode.
It was a good episode.
Yeah, it was great. It was great. And Carter's clip is the one that did the best on
Yeah.
TikTok, and
Yeah.
where he talks about the dummy fader, and it's fucking great. But yeah, TikTok 60,000 views. if I'll talk about it more, but in our next little piece. But I am really looking forward to making those numbers go even higher next year. So stick around, Jackson.
I was wondering if I was going to be last.
No, Adam's last. What's your album of the year?
I'll talk about honorable mentions first. To start, no, actually, I'll do that at the end of my honorable mentions. As I mentioned, I really enjoyed the Ginger Root album, which was a post-show Clarity item for me. But that's Shin Bangumi by Ginger Root. It's a solid, 35 minute album, and it's just like it's kind of like city pop but in English, so you can enjoy it and sing along with it. I really enjoyed Illuminati Hotties album Power. Criminally undersold show, but
Yeah, for
still
real.
played incredibly. And then also Vampire Weekend's Only God Was Above Us was incredible. Loved that album. Wish I could have seen them live because I think this has been their best tour they've done from everything that I've seen, but just did not work out with my plans this year. I also thought the production on that record sounded incredible. A lot of really cool bass stuff on it. And then locally, I know he didn't like it.
That's why I thought you were saying it right to him, and he had no
I
reaction.
wasn't.
Okay,
no,
okay,
I
okay.
genuinely think the bass in that is like some of the most interesting stuff I've heard in a while. But locally, Toast Records did this 5-in-1 or 4-in-1. Yeah, it was a 4-in-1 EP with Char-X, Bill Hamilton, and then there were two other bands that are escaping my mind right now. But that was a really cool release that they did. And they did this whole 4-in-1 where it was basically like a cassette tape, and then on the other side of the box was they had packages like it was like laundry detergent, and they literally put laundry detergent in the other side, which was a funny way of
That's pretty
packaging.
great.
Yeah, but it's solid local music. So my album of the year though is there was this group called Visitor Parking that released 3 songs, and they just fucking killed it. You guys hear this?
I know the person who did their poster.
Oh, cool.
Yeah.
Wait, sorry, is Visitor Parking
A band anymore? No, I don't think so.
are they local?
Yeah.
Yeah,
They're from
depends on your
Dallas.
definition.
They're from Dallas.
Yeah, Dallas.
Okay, and the music's good.
I think it's pretty good. Yeah.
I eliminated it from my local mentions because it wasn't an album.
Can we get that stricken from the record, or
Oh my God,
I'll
DLC can
second
win
that.
Game of the Year.
yes?
Yeah, so that's my album of the year.
Wait, did you say DLC did win Game of the Year?
No, it can.
Oh, that's on right now. Game of the Year is on.
It is.
Yeah.
Well, I don't know if it's actually on, but yeah, go ahead and leave this stream and go over to the Game Awards if you want to see Jeff Keighley in a horribly fitting suit. Every year, that guy, he can afford a suit. Just ask Kojima.
I don't think that that's really what they're going for. Good suits over there.
Yeah, but my actual album of the year.
Oh, no, you're good.
Apparently, I have to talk about Brat.
You don't have to do. Okay.
I think I liked that album. As you can see with what everybody else is picking, this is why I'm not on the show anymore. They kicked me out because I listen to pop music.
He quit.
What?
But for
I listened to
quitter.
this album before either of them even had heard of it, I think.
This can't be true.
No, we have TikTok.
This can't be true.
that's probably fair,
There
yeah.
is no way.
I definitely
that's
listened
true.
to it before Dave did, though. I
Yeah, that's
distinctly
true.
remember saying that, and Dave's like, "You listened to that?"
Yeah.
I did. It was great.
So yeah, Brat. I mean, I've been singing praises for Charlie XCX for at least since 2020, but I really think she's been on this trajectory since 2016 on the Vroom Vroom EP, and then going into in 2020 when she released, or I think Pop 2. I'm not going to go on a whole diatribe about Charlie XCX here,
I mean,
but
we've definitely talked about how good her music is prior to 2020 for sure.
there's and I've said this, and she's one of these people, but there's a handful of people that I think have really cracked, they know how to write a song, not just oh, they're good at writing, oh, they can just write a pop song and it is it's what it's going to be a hit, that kind of thing, and she's one of them. And I think Zane Lowe put it really well in his interview with her, that basically she has never oftentimes you'll these massive albums that go just super big and get somebody to the level that they are, which is what Brat has been for her. Typically, like, so my example is the Modest Mouse album with Float On. Good News for people who love bad news. That sounds nothing like the previous Modest Mouse. It's a great record, but it's not a departure, but it's different. And they've kind of chased that high for a while. Everything on Brat sounds exactly like the Vroom Vroom EP. It sounds like How I'm Feeling Now. It sounds like Pop 2. It sounds like all of her records, except probably Crash, which was her album that came out right before this. But like Crash is great. But what I'm trying to get to with this is that basically she has never changed. And what Zane Lowe said about her is that we've caught up. And I do really feel that way. And it's like, it feels very good. It's easy to hear this stuff and like be really frustrated of like, man, I have been for so long telling people like how great Charlie XCX is. And now like, I remember when she played at Club Dada in college. I remember all this stuff. And I was like, dude, I play that venue. And now
You don't want to be too hipstery about it.
yeah, and it's really easy to be like, oh, you guys didn't like. I've been saying this for years, but like,
Yeah.
I genuinely feel like, hell yeah, like I'm so happy that everybody's now on that level, and there's like no part of me that's like, fuck you guys, you weren't listening, and it just feels really good. It's a great album. It came out. I mean, I was anticipating it. I remember when Von Dutch came out way in advance of the album and was like super viral for a while, and then the actual album came out when I was in a like very urban, like foreign city, like as foreign as you can think of. And it was just this metropolis. And I was listening to the album in my apartment at the time. And I was just like, this is really good. I just like, I'm not, it's not clicking with me as much. And then my wife, who was going in and out of the house a lot and taking the subway and the subway and the bus a lot, was like, go walk around the city and just listen to the album
And have a panic attack.
no, she was like, you're immediately gonna feel like a boss at that point. And then I did it. I walked around. I was like, wow, I feel like the hottest person in the world right now. And yeah, it's incredible. I really like it. It's not my. And here's the thing: is it's like, I'm glad everybody's gotten to this point. I hope people will now listen to her other records, because like, I don't think it's a perfect record. I don't think it's her best record. I'm really glad it's gotten her.
I think you chose her for me to listen to during the Hyperpop episode, right?
Yeah.
And it was How I'm Feeling Now or whatever?
Yeah, that's my favorite album of hers.
That was really good.
Which came out in 2020. I just think she's it's not, the lyrics aren't obscure. They're not hiding. Like, she's saying exactly what's on her mind.
Yeah, she's talking about like people she's been dating and having crushes on.
It's very
Struggles
obvious
with fame.
who she's talking about in these albums or in these songs. And like, she's engaged to one of the guys from 1975. And the 1975 are known for their lyrics being very on the nose of like, oh, you're literally talking about masturbating.
Right.
And she basically was like, oh, I thought, oh, I'm going to try that. And like, I think it's resonated more with people for that reason. And yeah, and it's like created this whole year for her where she's like released remixes with a song that was about her and Lorde. And then people were speculating online like, oh, is this song about her talking about Lorde? Because she's talking about how they look alike and people want them to do a song, and it's that. And then she released a remix with Lorde having a verse talking about like, hey, here's my view.
side of the story.
Yeah, and then she released a whole remix album, like it's the same songs but remixed. I think it was like last month, and it like, I'm not a huge remix person, but like it basically, yeah, I was like, oh, this is really interesting. It actually reinvents it.
There seemed to be a song about a producer who died or someone who would make her beats.
Yeah, so that was Sophie, which was the album I asked album
yeah,
to listen
yeah.
to.
Yeah.
Yeah, she died. I think it was like 4 years ago. But yeah,
Wow.
Yeah, she's another in that hyperpop genre, like her, A.G. Cook, 100 Gex, and
That
Charlie
episode
XCX.
holds up really well.
thank you.
I mean, because like, especially with this year, like this album coming out, like it feels like Jackson was ahead of it a little bit on that.
Yeah.
So
Back to Back, that song. I
Yeah.
love that song.
Yeah,
It's
and
fucking
like
great.
it, like
I want to see her perform that live.
Like,
and I'm
as the
curious
album
if she
s-
does the whole thing.
yeah, as the album starts with like 360, like that, I think it just like it starts and ends with that album, and like the ending version, which is kind of like a reprise, but it's a full song. it feels like a remix version of the entire album put
Yeah.
together in one song, which kind of felt fitting going into, you know, basically the like, oh, I'm gonna now remix this entire, you know, the album, and like that people are gonna actually love it, because most of the time when like a remix album comes out, it just
I
comes
don't
and
even
goes.
listen to it.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, like I could talk pretty much about. There's only like a song or two on it that I'm just like, oh, I'm not as into. I don't think they're bad, but like, yeah, I mean, I could talk about every single song on this album. Von Dutch sounds like literally the instrumental track sounds like a PlayStation 2 like driving song.
Yeah.
And it's so fucking cool. Apple obviously went super mega
Huge
viral.
single.
Sympathy as a Knife has like super cool production. I like Sorry Swifties. I like that it's clearly like shade on like Taylor Swift at the time. And
Yeah.
it just like it's really interesting how like open she's being about like, oh yeah, like I'm just not comfortable around these people, and like, oh, this is what I'm thinking, that kind of stuff. So shout out to Charlie XCX. And
Yeah. I mean, it's
Keep it going.
It's kind of crazy because, like, you know, all of what you said is very real. Like, we've all seen you be a fan of Charlie XCX for years, and it's crazy to see not only that she has become as big as she has, but like this is the most culturally significant record of the year. Like we could look at the Spotify numbers and see that Taylor Swift has the highest streaming numbers, but the summer wasn't called Taylor Swift summer. It's called Brat Summer.
Like she owns a color now.
Yeah, exactly. It's like this is the most culturally significant music of 2024, and it's probably one of the coolest things to see somebody who, you know, whether or not like I haven't listened to her for as long as you, I'm not even close, but like just to see that like someone who, you know, has been in the scene and been working and hustling,
Yeah, and putting
is
in the
at-
work.
Yeah. It's just,
She's been in the like, and even outside of like, oh, you can see that her constant output, you know, and like she was on the Barbie soundtrack.
Right.
She's had all these like she was that song Fancy by Iggy Azalea.
That's-
She's the one
yeah.
in the background doing the I'm So Fancy part. And if you look at her outside of that actual like what she's on and what she's putting out with her name, she's written, like she's a pop
Yeah.
song writer and who like has as many song credits as like any of the like people who write pop songs. Like that's a really shitty explanation, but
Or like a Sia.
it's shocking how she's always been there, and she's like my age, so it's like it's not like she's like, oh man, she's 40 and she's just like, you know, been churning these out. It's just like she's been doing this since like she was like I think like 16 or 18, and it's like the hard work shows, and it really, like, I'm telling you, like when she was here on the Crash tour, I tried to get tickets and it was at House of Blues, sold out. House of Blues is not, I think it's like a 1,500 cap room.
yeah.
It's 24, I think.
Yeah, but like it's big, but it's not massive. And as I said, she played Club Dada, which is a couple hundred people, and then this year she sold out with Troye Sivan, the American Airlines Center, and it's crazy.
Yeah, it really is like it's a thing of just, you know, if you're able to, like, you can see work actually, like hard work actually paying off. Everybody can like look at a lot of success stories and be like, it's a lot of times it comes down to
Industry
luck.
plant.
Or sure,
Industry plant.
I see both of those happen a lot, where it's like, I don't know how this person got here. This is like some kind of like this is just luck. I mean, I'm not saying that person didn't work hard, but like you can actually see Charlie XCX. I do feel the same way about Chappell Roan. Like you can see the hard work from both of these artists becoming two of the biggest artists of the year, and I think will continue to hold that platform up for a long time.
But the big
So,
thing about it for me is that, like, yeah, the hard work is there and she's been doing it, like, grinding for years. But, like, the big thing for me is that she didn't, you know, basically, like, hey, I need to drop this abrasive part of my production. I need to no longer work with A.G. Cook so I can make, like, a very, like, palatable album. Like, she's, like, release the same stuff that I always do. And
Yeah.
it just, for some reason, this time it hit. And it's
Yeah.
just like, well, that's what I really appreciate.
Like you said,
about
like
it.
it's like the world cut up.
Yeah.
Yeah.
There's no float on this.
Yeah, but as a songwriter, she could 100% change the production and change the textures and everything, and the songs would hold up just as much, but it would lose the charm. But it might, in turn, be more appealing to a broader audience.
Yeah. So my album of the year is Visitor Parking's 3 singles: Clean Up, People Like Me, and Lover's Lane.
I muted him. Okay, so 2025 for the podcast. Like I said, I really want. I'm looking forward to getting the view counts up. I'm looking forward to keep working on that front. But more importantly, as we've said, we've announced it and we mentioned it. But Blake's having his own show with us, and it's going to be a lot of fun.
Yeah, I think so.
You have your first episode already kind of worked out, right? Well,
Yeah, we've got it planned.
yeah. So
Should be a good time.
so this is real. It's happening, everybody. You want the ultra nerdy long form shit? Don't worry, we got you.
I've got it covered.
The deeper dives.
My first episode is on transistors and guitar pedals. People are gonna love it.
And I really can't wait to teach anyone else how to work all this, so I don't have to be in the room. But that's
I heard Dave volunteered.
yeah.
No. I heard I was volunteered.
Oh yeah, I
Yes.
just said you can.
We call
you can
that
run
being
it.
voluntold.
Yeah, you're voluntold to work it while for that episode for the first
Yeah.
one, and then
You're going to be out in the other room going,
No, I'm gonna go. I wish I was playing WoW right now, but you're on my computer. Okay, Adam, album of the year.
Yeah,
I
I'll
can't
go through. Okay, I'll go through my honorable mentions first. Jack White, No Name, in fifth. This is my wife's favorite album of the year. I really think this is his best album. I think I'm going to
it's
catch some hate for that.
very youthful.
It feels like a White Stripes record to me.
Yeah.
It feels the closest he's come to that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It feels like what he's been. It feels more memorable to me than the other
Sure.
solo stuff
Yeah,
that
yeah,
he's
that's
done.
a
Although
good way to
Bordenhouse Reach is really good, but yeah. So that in fifth, Childish Gambino, Bando Stone in the New World. This album was great for me. I really like Childish Gambino, and I really was looking forward to this album and enjoyed every part of it. Idols, Tank, just like Dave, great album.
What does that mean? Tanked. Yeah. Did we ever find
I
out?
don't-
Because it's spelled T.
I didn't try to figure it out.
I
I didn't really try to figure it out.
figured during their
It's a good
press
name.
tour they would like explain it, or it would say somewhere on like the jacket, and it doesn't.
Well, they
It's just the accent just spelled out.
they explain the pronunciation of it, that it's tank, that you don't have to worry about the G.
But what does it mean?
I don't know.
That's for you to figure out next year.
Fuck those guys.
And then also I had Lawrence Family Business on there. I think I'm probably not alone in liking Lawrence. We know that, but Dave's nodding his head now too, so maybe he likes them now. That album really landed well with me. I was very surprised at my response to that album. At the end, they get into playing some recordings of them as kids and their
Their grandfather.
talking, and I was
Shoot.
sitting on the plane. I'm like, I'm going to cry on this plane, and this guy next to me is going to be like, "What the fuck is this guy listening to?"
Tank
great
is a onomatopoeic word coined to describe, quote, the lashing way the band imagined the guitars sounding that has grown into a sigil for living in love. There you go.
Okay,
That's where they came up with the word.
I think
British
they're
people
wrong.
are gross.
Yeah,
Just so
I
gross.
think they're wrong.
They're wrong. They did that.
Dude, I got in trouble on Instagram for saying things about French people. So like, whatever,
Cancel
man.
bugs?
Yeah, no,
Yeah.
clearly.
Yeah,
No,
but-
he already got in trouble. He got his cancel
I
bucks
got
for it.
banned. I got banned for a couple days.
well,
That's
that's
great.
That's great. But they're French though, so whatever. You know.
Fucking French people.
Yeah.
So my album of the year is My Method Actor by Nilüfer Yanya.
Yes.
I got the name right.
Woo!
I had to watch a couple interviews to make sure I got the name right. This album is great. I don't know exactly how I stumbled upon it. I know that it came up as a recommendation for me on Tidal. I don't really know why or how, but I'm glad it did.
I told you about it.
You mentioned it after.
Did
had already
I?
seen it on
Oh,
Tidal.
okay,
Yeah.
Jackson.
No.
But I said it on the on the episode that I listened to a bunch of albums. That's when I
You
said
did,
it.
but I mentioned you mentioned the album art, and I was like, that was recommended to me on Tidal first.
okay.
So I don't know.
It wasn't that
Maybe this
episode.
is Tidal
We listened to it
working.
on Fun
listened to it on
Fridays.
Fun Fridays,
Yeah.
I don't know if this is Tidal working. I don't know how it exactly got there, but I'm glad it did
No,
because this
title
album.
does not work.
Well, it's maybe won't work much longer.
I will say this is the first time an album made me angry in a long time, and I was upset that I didn't know it already.
Yeah, it's
It was
Well-
so good.
to Hagen's point earlier about it's hard to find what to listen to out of everything. this is one of those cases where it's like I'm annoyed that I didn't know about this artist before because I've now gone back and listened to her other stuff and it's all great. This is
Yeah, she's
like
been
made
like,
for me. Like it's,
consistent.
yeah, and it's one of those things that like keep putting in the work, obviously, and then finally, like I guess we just caught up. It's very good album. Even like from the very first song and when I was listening to it the first time, I was like, yeah, this is good. I like this. Like I put it on my list pretty early into the album. I hadn't even finished it.
Yeah.
I think by the third or fourth song, I was like, "This is gonna be top 10. This is that's gonna skyrocket up the list." And it was not a very tough decision to decide this was my top choice out of those 5. So
It's a very surprising listen. I haven't heard a lot of people are talking about McGee this year and how like his guitar tone and his voice and they work so well together and it's revolutionary. It's like, well, okay, there are many comparisons, but I think that this is truly like the way that her voice blends with her guitar and the voicings that she's using, the low register, and it weaves in and out, and just the textures of her tone. It's fucking so good. It's so good.
I think I thought that I got a lot of like a lot of really interesting guitar stuff, but really what was kind of happening more than anything for me was it felt like almost like slow electro indie vibes
Yeah.
that
Yeah.
was like driven by almost something more aggressive, but it wasn't like actually that aggressive. It was
No,
like
it was some grungy sounding guitars.
only, but only sometimes did it actually
yeah,
sound
there
like
were
that.
moments where there's like a weird quality to it.
It's almost
Yeah.
like implied sometimes. It was almost like implied aggression and like you maybe were like accustomed to one or two songs that had some of it, and the next song didn't have it, and you were like, it wasn't there, but you still got the similar feeling. The only thing that I felt about this album after enough listens is I was the back half of the album I got a little bit samey vibes off of.
Track
Yeah.
7 to track 11.
Yeah.
But it was still really good.
Still great, yeah.
I just think they could have
I was-
ordered it differently.
Yeah.
I was completely into it by that point, so I didn't care.
Right.
Sure.
But going back and listening to it again more and more, it's like, yeah, that it does feel. Maybe this is a trend I just feel like I've noticed more of myself. I feel like the order of albums is odd in more recent music.
A lot of front loaded
Yeah.
records coming back.
Yeah, I mean, I think that this felt like, I mean, and I could be wrong, but it does kind of feel like the way it is ordered is almost intentional. Like because it did feel like the flow. I only felt that I thought it felt samey, but it still wasn't like that samey. It just kind of like it felt like the record was intentionally trying to take you almost like on a ride up and
Yeah,
then
it's got a
on
lot
a
of ups
just
and downs.
ride down.
Yeah.
Kind of like it's like right
Yeah.
at the like you said, like whatever 7 through 11. You're like you're just going down,
Yeah.
and it's not like in a way of like fuck this is so boring or this sucks, but it's just like there's the up that might have sold you at the beginning. It's not going to come back, and you think it's going to, but again you get those like kind of almost like implied tones that are like, oh yeah, this is aggressive, but
Yeah.
Yeah, it's a clear up and then down,
Yeah.
which is different from a lot of stuff.
Track 7, I keep mentioning it, but when that hits, it feels welcomed. It's like, oh, there's a little break before the end of the record. This is just my first listen. And then I was like, oh, track 8, okay, maybe here's another little break. Let's see if it ends with some of the stuff from the beginning of the record, just to like bring it back up again. And then it never did, but not to a detriment.
Yeah, I think
I don't think it's a negative thing.
I think it works. It is a little weird. Like the more and more I think about how albums are like tracked at
Yeah.
the last couple of years, it feels like this is a very strong trend that we're going back to like front loaded, like you said. Which, as somebody who listens to a full album anyway, I don't really care. That's fine. But,
yeah. Yeah.
it is a strange choice.
Yeah.
It's a great pick. And I mean, Jackson had mentioned that like she's been doing stuff for a while and the people have been really into her for a bit. But like, yeah, just finding her this year and hoping that this is another artist that continues to blow
Yeah.
up more. Would be
When
really
I say
great.
that, I'm talking like Pitchfork sweetheart.
Yeah,
So,
yeah,
like,
Yeah.
Just in the world that I'm in.
Yeah,
She's
yeah,
done a Tiny Desk concert.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I went to look up some performances, and they're all from like 2020, 2021. I'm like, oh, I've missed out.
Yeah.
She's been very consistent and like has been like people have been like, oh yeah, like we really like her, and then it
Yeah.
does seem like this album has kind of like
Hit
not
the right
catapulted,
chord.
but like
Yeah.
gotten much
Yeah.
more recognition.
Man, her drummer is incredible.
Yeah. Yeah.
I think I would imagine it's him on all the tracks too.
It's like two drummers, and one of them is the producer.
Yeah.
Well, and the on the production side of things, it was basically her and her producer only.
Yeah.
Who worked on stuff.
Yeah.
At least the initial like go around, it was just them hammering it out.
Yeah, there's only a handful of other musicians on it. That producer plays like most things on it, from at least from what I saw on Wikipedia. So, which I thought was great. Yeah, great record, really good choice. We have our podcast picks, so our picks that the three of us chose, and we broke the rules this time, and we chose 2 albums.
We make the rules.
We make the rules. One of them has already been mentioned. It was on Adam's list. It's Family Business by Lawrence. And then the other one was All Born Screaming by St. Vincent. The reason we chose 2, if anybody cares, is because I hadn't really listened to the St. Vincent record. I know that the 2 of them had. And so I was kind of like, we should pick that, but I guess I should listen to it. And I was like, or we could pick Lawrence, because I know that me and Adam have that at least in
But
common.
I hadn't listened to that
Right,
record.
yeah.
So I was like, I should listen to it.
So I listened to both of them back to back, and I came into the problem of, well, fuck, these are both really good for their own reasons. So
Pretty different reasons, but
yeah.
good reasons.
I think Dave put it really well in our group chat, saying that the St. Vincent record is like more creative. I think that it's like it shines at being like one of the most creative, innovative things I heard of, like I don't want to call her like necessarily mainstream, but like, you know, something close to mainstream, right? A lot of people know who St. Vincent is, and so like the tones, like I mean, just man, the amount of weird ass fucking sounds on this album is crazy. And the playing is great. But for me, where it lost is where Lawrence wins, which is like there were songs that were catchy, but not an earworm. Nothing that like stayed in my head at all. And Lawrence did that really fucking well, where like I could look at the album list and go, I know what that melody sounds like.
most
I
of
know
the
what
album,
that. Yeah,
honestly,
exactly. Yeah. And so it was really hard to pick between the 2. So instead,
We picked both.
both.
It's a tie.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm fucking pissed.
Why?
You guys broke the fucking rules.
Thank
This
you.
sucks.
Now, like, you listened to both of these albums?
I did listen to both.
Okay, I'm curious to hear your thoughts on
so-
both of these albums.
St. Vincent, Andy Clark lives in my world of what can I do to make this guitar sound like the stupidest thing you've ever heard.
Yeah.
And I'm here for it. I mean, every record. Lawrence is incredibly talented, and that album just sounded like the theme song to every 90s B sitcom I could think of.
I think they would be happy with that.
Everywhere you
Again,
Yeah.
incredibly talented.
Yeah.
Does it sound like
But-
Target commercial music?
Or the Star Wars
Sure.
song.
Just
That they covered.
Yeah.
anytime I listen to music, I'm wondering when it's going to get weird.
Yeah.
And
that makes sense.
That's
yeah.
something that
Yeah.
doesn't.
They don't
win.
get weird.
Again,
in the
No.
sound.
not
No.
discrediting their talent at all.
No.
But
No,
they
no.
should let me come in and make weird guitar sounds.
I think that's the difference between the 2 of them for me, because I think that like there's no way like putting them next to each other for me, like it's just that they're both going to do a thing so differently, and I'm going to like what they do like so differently for different reasons, and it's going to come to a point where it's like, well, is it just do you get points for being creative or for being catchy? Which one do you get more points for, kind of thing? And so yeah, I really like, and the other thing is that both of those albums like hit a great. Like if you listen to the whole Lawrence record, you're gonna hit a point where they pull back the curtain and you're gonna get more somber and more like emotional stuff. And same with the St. Vincent record. Like
Yeah.
both albums are gonna give you not just the things we're talking about. They give you so much more, and it's a lot on the plate. It's a lot to take in, I think, for both albums. Whereas Lawrence, you could say it's like easy to take in, but if you want to, it's not.
Yeah, and then
Yeah.
like, what really helped me with the Lawrence record was watching the documentary they made about the record, and well, like the 9-part
Docuseries thing they have, yeah.
on YouTube. Like what's the song about Gracie's funeral? It's called like it might be called At My Funeral.
Yeah, I think it is.
It's
yeah.
like that song is really great and a cool moment on the record. But Adam mentioned it before. At the very end of the record, it's their grandfather talking about how proud he is of them.
Yeah.
Because they're siblings. And I was just like, this is fucking sweet.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Like,
it's-
so sweet.
it's-
What a cool thing to have at the end of a record.
It's a very cool thing to have, and it doesn't feel forced or weird
Yeah.
or anything.
Yeah. Yeah.
It feels earned by that point of the album.
For sure. But yeah, ultimately, I just like Lawrence and Dave like St. Vincent, so this is why.
Yeah.
This is why we have the picks that we have. I don't have any more games. I don't have anything else. I think that's the end of the year episode. That's the end of year party. Hey, Blake and Jackson, thanks for being here.
Thanks, guys.
Oh,
I,
go ahead.
I skipped my local honorable mentions.
yeah,
'cause I
go.
thought we were
Yeah,
gonna hit
yeah.
that.
That's my fault. Yeah,
There were,
actually,
were
yeah.
two records by pals of mine. The album Featherweight by Real
Oh, yeah.
is a pretty good like throwback to
How's that spelled? Is that REE? or-
REEL.
Okay.
It's kind of a throwback to, I don't want to call them butt rock, but you know the
I'll call them butt rock.
the creeds of the world. And then In the Blue Light by Captain Moon and the Silver Spoons.
Yeah.
is a great experimental funky record that everyone should check out.
I also forgot to read some of our submissions for other people, for our listeners and Instagram viewers. Album of the year from Pablo. We have. I discovered this guy this year, and I've really enjoyed this album, although it is from 2021. Thank you, Pablo.
Classic.
I don't know
Classic
who
Pablo.
you're talking about. From our friend Joey, we have Charm by Claro. And Ian, we have Better Lovers, Irresponsibly High. What? Oh. What?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah,
Good-
yeah, yeah.
good record,
Well,
good
and
record.
it's one of those things that's like I think we all felt like just not enough time with that record.
Same,
But
yeah.
it's,
Ian,
yeah,
you should
yeah.
check out the Me Without You live album. I think you'll really just settle in with that
And
one.
Ian's other answer is Marilyn Manson 1 Assassination Under God.
Boo. Boo.
The reality of my record
Fuck
of the
that
year
choice.
is August and Everything After by Counting Crows. So it's been that way since the 90s.
Oh yeah, my old record of the year that isn't from this year is Paul McCartney's record that I talked about a whole lot,
Yeah, yeah.
and
yeah,
probably
yeah.
the Jellyfish record.
I was gonna say
I was
Jellyfish
gonna
has
say
got to be up there.
Jellyfish,
Yeah,
yeah.
yeah, yeah.
Why did y'all do that? I've never heard of that band. I
That's
was
why.
That's
shocked.
why. Yeah.
That's why.
Yeah.
But no, what I'm
Oh,
asking.
someone
is
showed
why-
it to me.
Okay.
Yeah,
Okay.
a friend
Got
showed it to me. And I was like, this is fucking incredible.
Yeah, yeah. I think that's what it's like. It was like what 93 is that album?
Yeah,
Or,
yeah.
And so it was just like, and it was a musical shock from that era, and so it was like that. That's why.
Oh, it just feels like out of place.
yeah,
And it flopped,
yeah.
and then they broke up.
So that's our album of the year. That's our end of year episode. Anybody else have any thoughts? Anyone know what time they're listening to?
No.
Damn.
Hey, if we can push this one more hour, I can get Whataburger breakfast on the way home.
You can help me
Just
clean
hang
up.
out for an hour.
Sure, I'll help you clean up.
Awesome. This is great. This is really coming up, Hagen. Thank you guys so much for watching. Thank
What do
you
you
for
think
listening.
about Wicked?
It's great.
Did you guys already talk about that on the
I
podcast?
talked about it
We
last
did.
week. Yeah.
All right. Fuck this.
Do you want to talk about it?
No, not really.
I didn't think so.
My doctor today, she told me I need to see it, and I was like, I'm probably not going to.
This
She's
is-
like,
yeah.
No, you have to. And I was like, no. You don't understand. I love musicals. I just don't like the movie. That's not what I'm interested
don't like
in.
Wicked?
You gotta
don't
wait
like
for
Wicked?
part
I don't
two.
like Wicked.
Yeah, that's the
But,
big
like,
one.
That's the big thing about this is that like whenever I tell people, I'm like, only certain people are gonna be like, hey, you know me. I have a musical pedigree, right? I don't want to see Wicked. I also don't want to see Rent. I got a little New York. Right
You
there.
did. Yeah.
Sorry,
I don't wanna
wanna
see Rent.
I don't want
I'm
to see
feeling
Rent.
my
Yeah.
Italian roots. You know, it's me, Luigi. I'm just it's the whole thing. I mean, what this fucking guy? Yeah. So my album of the year is Luigi.
I agree.
Who do
That-
you main
that's
in
really good.
Smash? Mine's Luigi.
Luigi.
Yeah.
Thank you guys for listening. Thank you for watching. Appreciate it so much. If you haven't already, please follow, subscribe, whatever podcast app you're using to listen to this. If you're on YouTube right now, hit the subscribe button because it's free and it helps us. And if you like also Twitch, we're on Twitch over there. You can follow over on that too. Yes, Jackson.
We're playing a show next Friday, December 20th in Dallas. Moniker and Matthew and the Arrogancy and a couple other groups. It's at Double Wide. I don't know when the show starts.
I think 9.
Yeah, probably 9 p.m. But I've heard that there's if you pay the cover charge. And if you didn't understand that, just message Don't Feed the Artist and we'll clarify what means.
And if you don't know how to message us, you can find us at DFTA Podcast on Instagram, Don't Feed the Artist on TikTok. You can also email us at feedback@don'tfeedtheartist.com. All of those things will you can ask us what those questions are, or you can tell us what your album of the year is. We want to hear from you. I wish more people would have responded. I'm a little mad at you guys. I would love to hear more about your album of the year. So please let us know. Continue to DM us. And email us about your album of the year. If you haven't already, come join our Patreon. There's good stuff up there already. We'll keep adding more stuff, and when you join, you get some fun little merch, and it helps us out a ton because this is a labor of love. So join the Patreon, helps us out. I don't think next year Blake's show starts right away, pretty much in the year when the year starts.
Second week of January.
Yeah,
we're
we're starting right away with that. So
high fives and deep dives. Check it out.
high fives and deep dives is going to be a ton of fun. So be ready for that. I think that's everything. Thank you guys so much for an awesome year. And I mean, we can do Fridays still if you want.
Yeah, sure.
And we'll be around doing fun Fridays. So if you want to come listen to whatever new music is out at the end of the year, we'll be listening to that. Thank you guys so much. Thank you, Adam.
See you
Thank
next
you, Dave.
year.
Thank you, Jackson. Thank you, Blake.
Fuck off! Get me in town!
Bye, Jackson.
See you next year.
See you next year. He's gonna
Or
say no next
not.
year. He's gonna say no next year.